Hi, welcome to my channel where we question everything. Today's topic is bits and pieces, and does the Western world's hubris have no end? And do these people have no shame? In any case, what stimulated me today is to make this video was Ursula von der Leyen's proposal to create a special tribunal to prosecute Russian war crimes. The European Union, the Western world, with the support of the UN, I must say by that. What the hell is wrong with these people? Do they think that the Western world is the only world of people in the world, and that they control the world, and that they have to police the world, and that they have to tell everybody else what they must do and cannot do and should do, and enforce their own beliefs and ideological beliefs on the rest of the world? I mean, come on, people. So Ursula von der Leyen, who doesn't agree with anything that goes against her wishes, has now decided to create a court and then prosecute only Russians, not the Ukrainian war crimes, not even their own crimes in Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Palestinians. No. We are squeaky clean. We are not going to prosecute ourselves. There's supposed to be an international court for crimes. I mean, we African people are usually found guilty, but the Americans and the Europeans war crimes people are never found guilty. They even prosecute Milosevic from Serbia and some other people for their crimes, but they never prosecuted Kosovan crimes. No. Just the idea of creating such a court is a ridiculous idea. You know, the Americans have always stated that they will protect their civilians. They do not recognize the International Court in The Hague. And should anybody be prosecuted from the American soldiers of their war crimes in Iraq, which is well documented, then they will create certain actions, and I know that they are willing to go to war with the country to recover their citizens. Well, if the Americans give themselves the right to do these things, then surely the Russians will do that as themselves. But it doesn't go into the grey matter of Ursula. Sure, you know, my biggest problem is that I always think that these people should be fairly intelligent. They should be able to at least determine what is right and wrong, and they can see that there are usually two sides to any coin. They should know it, but they don't behave in that act. And that makes me very confused because, you know, some people say these people are dumb or idiots or whatever, but they are not idiots, but their actions show that they are idiots, and the speeches that they give is idiots and of low intelligence, and it makes me completely confused. Do I now have to agree with them, the other punters that say that these people are stupid? Because what they say is stupid, and what they are trying to promote is stupid, and hypocrisy to the nth degree. Another example of the hubris that these idiots, the so-called idiots have in the West, is this cap on gas prices. So Europe has no, well, they do have some fracking and so on, so they have some gas sources, and there is gas in Norway and so on. And I don't know, the gas by the British oil platforms and so on. But there is a little bit of gas supplies in Europe, but not maybe 10%, maybe 20% max. So they're short of a commodity. And that commodity is controlled by the non-West people, which is Qatar and Russia and Iran and so on, which Europe is actually aggressive towards, and they need these resources. And then they pick a fight with these countries, and then they tell even these countries that I will not buy your gas, your energy, and if I buy that, I will only pay so much. Yes, they do get gas from America, and yes, America is overcharging them. Yes, all this other nonsense, yes, but the Americans are not supposed to have enough gas, and not on the long term in any case. So then they're gonna, when they have a shortage, where there is a, normal business principles, supply and demand, capitalistic ideas, common sense type of business ideas. You have a demand for that. I have the supply for that. You have a shortage of demand. I can raise my prices. You're not going to tell me what you are prepared to pay. Then you don't get it. There are other guys that want it. I'm selling it at the highest price. So in a seller's market, the Western Europe has this hubris, the gall, if you want to call it, to demand lower prices when they are absolutely dependent and in need of the raw material, the energy, gas, from these suppliers, to which they have expressed their aggressive behavior and try to pick a fight. How does that work? Clearly, there's something wrong with your thought. And then I have to conclude you are an idiot. And you are of low intelligence, if you cannot see that. But wait, there's more. There's more. So the Europeans have finally agreed on an oil price cap. They only, Russia is the second largest supplier of oil. Oil is a scarce commodity. It is controlled. The production is controlled by OPEC plus, a cartel. They decide how much they're going to produce. So they're already manipulating supply and demand. But if you can also argue they are trying to stabilize the question of demand and supply. Because Saudi Arabia needs a certain price for oil in order to balance their books and their budget for their country. So they are going to manipulate the price of oil in order to ensure enough income for their country. In a similar sense, you can say that of Russia. They're not going to give away their oil. So again, Europe is the beggar for oil. He needs oil. He doesn't have enough oil. So there's a huge demand question in the market. And then they're going to tell the supplier, of whom they are dependent indirectly, how much they're going to pay. Well, Russia has already said they're not going to pay, deliver these products to countries that support the cap. Surely, that's 3 strikes. 3 strikes. Then you must be stupid. There's some seriously lack of thinking on your side, Ursula von der Leyen and Janet Yellen. and whoever supports this idiocy. So if you don't get it from Russia, it's also that there's only so much oil on the market. So you withdraw the Russian component. So the whole supply for the whole world is now short that Russian supply, which is the second largest. And now what will happen? So Chinese will buy the Russian gas, oil, and okay, this is a simplified version. So Saudi Arabia will, instead of now selling it to China, it will now sell it to Europe. So it's a circular thing. Take one away here, but you give it away, so it just moves around. And this, if the system works, then that is how it works. Will probably work. But unfortunately, it's not that simple. It's really not that simple. Energy markets is a hell of a complicated thing. It will disturb the balance that has been created by the OPEC cartel. Now they even talk that the OPEC itself, OPEC Plus, is going to reduce production even more. But they don't know what they're going to do because they still don't know what the effect is of this oil cap. But they should know that Russia is not going to sell it to Europe. Doesn't matter when. And then again, the fourth strike. Again, the absolute gall or hubris of these European leaders, their stupidity, is that it is well known that sanctions have never ever had the desired effect, wherever they work with this. So sanctions are basically useless. But they continue doing it. So what are they doing in this oil cap that they are trying to do? They are they're not going to insure the boats. They're not going to the ships. They're not going to finance the oil purchases. What? You know, is the Western world the only companies in the world that provide insurance? Is it the only company that provides financing? No. The rest of the world, like China, has enough cash and money, and other industries, and punters and so on. In India, they will finance and insure these. So all you're doing is you're damaging your own private companies, you're damaging their income. So they're going to lose money, and they're going to lose a client, and they're going to open the market for the competition in order to gain a bigger market share, which will never be recovered. Basically, you are destroying your own economic or industrial base. No, not industrial base, financial base, insurance base. And where are these companies? They are sitting in London, and some of them in Frankfurt and some other exchanges, but mostly in London and America, New York. That market is gone. And anybody that has ever run a business knows that to get a client costs a hell of a lot of money. But losing a client is very cheap. So recovering that market is going to be huge efforts and huge money and huge concessions and etc. and etc. etc. Even if it is removed, the sanctions are removed in, say, a year or 2 years. The market has been destroyed. The competition has gone in. An animosity has been created. Yes, business is business. But still, you stab me in the back, don't do business with you. You are unreliable, untrustworthy. Gone. It would take years, if ever, to be able to recover it. So that's strike number 4. So unfortunately, I now have to conclude that people are stupid in the Western world. For some other reason, they are sort of waking up and America is now benefiting of the war in Ukraine. We can't allow that. We are now paying so much more for gas, and we here in Europe are paying the highest price, and we can't do that. And America is making money, and so Schulz and Macron is now going up in arms. Now finally, after 10 months, they're starting to realize what is happening. They're getting somewhere, they got a head clap to their face and so on, got awakened a little bit. But they're not totally awakened. And the reason why they are actually awakened was actually this new law that America was introduced in order to support transition to electrical vehicles. I don't know what it's called. I don't remember now. Where they subsidize green energy. And now the Europeans are feeling, or the Volkswagen, those guys have probably moaned to the government, say, listen, this is unfair practice. We don't get subsidy from you, but our competition is getting subsidies from their government, and this is unfair, and we're going to lose market shares. And then suddenly Scholz and Macron awoke, and then, shit. It's not only that, it's now the energy as well. Yeah, you're making money. No. We have to address this. This is unfair. No. You put us into the position with Ukraine and so on. You told us to cut ourselves off from Russian suppliers, energies, and now and then you're making money. What the hell? No. That's strike number 5, isn't it? And then one just has to remember, this is now the government interfering in the private sector. I thought we had a democracy. I thought we had freedom. I thought, industry is important. We have a capitalistic system that works independently from the government. All that the government is supposed to do is handle the administrative side of the community. That is what it's supposed. But now it interferes and prohibits companies of doing business and in causing that businesses to lose money. So where is this democracy? Where is this freedom? And then we come to the last topic. And then there's Twitter and Elon Musk. I'm personally not a big fan of Elon Musk. I think he's also an idiot. Sorry. Yeah, okay, he's a chance taker. That's a direct translation from Afrikaans. In any case, he bought now Twitter, big hoo-ha. Twitter has all this fake news, censorship, and cancelling of accounts, and Donald Trump's cancelling account, but that Twitter had no real freedom, and that was basically either voluntary or enforced by the American government. And there was censorship. We all know because it's happening in YouTube and Google and Facebook and all the other stuff. So there is basically no real true freedom or freedom of speech. And then Janet Yellen said, no, we have to now investigate Twitter and the whole deal. It might be a national security because we don't know what the investors are and so on. And basically it's just a vindictive way against Elon Musk because he's now pro-freedom of speech. And the US government doesn't like it. Now they are using every instrument in government to nail the guy and to bring him back into line and reinstate all the censorship and etc. But on the other hand, how many companies does America basically own and has invested in China or even in Ukraine or in South Africa? Isn't that also then sort of security threats for those countries? But that's not the point. So, in any case, government interference into private sector and industry. That is what I'm actually focusing on. And then I read how Macron has had a talk with Elon Musk. And I got to read this because otherwise I'm going to miss the words. So, yes. It says, the two had a clear and honest discussion on a number of questions, according to Macron. Transparent user policies, significant reinforcement of content moderation, and protection of freedom of speech. So one sentence is two contradictory principles. Efforts have to be made by Twitter to comply with European regulations. Yeah, censorship regulations. What does content moderation mean? And what does protection of freedom of speech? That's a strike number 6. Macron claimed that democracies had come under very strong pressure, including from social media, where users are free to promote crazy things about a vaccine, a pandemic, the war. Accordingly, he called Musk's decisions to relax moderation policies on Twitter a big issue. God. That's what? Should I put Macron now in the same boat as Ursula von der Leyen? Idiot. Surely he cannot be that idiot. Surely, I mean, politicians are very sensitive to the words they use in order to express their meaning in order not to, it's like Obama. He said a hell of a lot of things, number of words, sentences. That's what I mean. He said a lot of sentences and words. But if you analyze his speech, he said actually nothing. Not even contradictory stuff. So surely Macron precisely knew what he was saying. And then he said, what I push very much for, want, is exactly the opposite. More regulation. Remember the words? Protection of freedom of speech. And this is what he said. And how does that work, John? It doesn't work. And then Musk self-described free speech absolutist, unbanned a number of high-profile controversial figures, including former US President Donald Trump, who has been permanently suspended in 2021. In any case, also Thierry Brenton, the bloc's internal market commissioner, that's from the EU, has threatened the world's richest man with a ban unless Twitter complied with a list of demands. Those reportedly included not having an arbitrary approach to reinstarting banned users, aggressively pursuing disinformation, and agreeing to an extensive independent audit by next year. That again is government interfering into a company, a commercial enterprise, trying to tell the commercial enterprise what it may and may not do, not based on general laws or general accepted laws, but laws that prevent freedom of speech. That's actually 2 strikes. Not protecting freedom of speech and telling the industry what they may or may not do. Now, I do understand, child pornography. I can understand that. But, what did I read? America is gonna... Wagner Group. The Wagner Group was now active in Mali. And you know about that. And the Americans want to now classify the Wagner Group as a terrorist organization. And one of the reasons was that they are preventing freedom of speech in Africa. Freedom of religion. Freedom of religion in Africa. That is one of the reasons why America wants to label the Wagner Group, the private mercenary group, as a terrorist organization. It's not that they classify their own private contractors, mercenaries, as in a similar way. No. They are useful for the American. But no. The crucial word here is religious freedom. Now, I'm telling you straightforward. If I want to promote Satanism, not that I'm not promoting Satanism, I'm not a Satanist, but Satanism can be viewed as a religion. And then technically, that should be allowed by the American statement. And Wagner Group is now preventing that freedom of religion, meaning the right to worship Satan, Wagner Group is preventing that. You understand the principle? Isn't that funny? Should I now make it strike number 8? You want to worship Satan? Well, it doesn't matter to me. It's your responsibility in any case as a parent to control the access to the internet to your children. Because pornography is rampant. And do you want to allow your child of 10 years old to watch pornography? No. So it's your responsibility. But is pornography banned on the internet? No. It's not censored. Then in the same principle, you see all these cults, even religious cults, you have to protect your child against that. It's your responsibility. And we assume that once you become 18 or 21, you are mature enough to make your own decisions and take your own responsibility. Well, you should, because you are allowed to vote and drive a car, which is a lethal weapon, if you want to see it. So, no, government decided to interfere. Our politicians are telling us what we may not do and do. I can't remember this on the article. I actually wanted to make something about that. It's a democracy or something like that. They shouldn't tell the population what they do or may not do. Or something, freedom to do. I can't remember, but it's in any case the same thing. Question of, they cannot tell you what you may do or not do. If they do that, then you have no freedom. So they're lying in any case. But it doesn't seem to me that people realize that. In Afrikaans, again, you have a saying that you don't look further than your nose. That's a direct translation. Seems to me the Western people that are so woke that they are forgetting to look past their nose. They cannot see further than that. They only can see up to here. Oh, yes. Oh, shit. We lost. We are out of the group stage. We are going home. The woke German soccer team. Remember that? One love. In any case, that's my story for today. I thought it was funny. In any case, if you like what you heard, subscribe, tell your friends, spread the word, and until next time, cheers.